So look, most setters are going to lose the sale in the first 30 seconds, and they don't even realize it. You can have the best leads, the best offer, the best closer. But if your setter can't frame the call in that first 5 minutes, it's over before it starts. And that's the part most people are never going to fix. They think the problem's the script or the lead source or the quality or the closer's just not following up enough or he sucks at overcoming objections. But the real leak is at the start, how the call opens, how the tone lands, and how the frame gets set. So today in this video, I'm going to be breaking down a real live setting call, which is going to be very raw and unfiltered from start to finish. You're going to see exactly where it went wrong, how to fix it, and how to rebuild every single framework so every single setter on your team books higher quality calls and actually gets them to show, like mitigate your no-show. So we're going to go through tone, control, pacing, discovery, depth, permission-based transition, and the exact structure I use to turn average setters into full-blown sales assets. So if your show-up rate's under 70%, if your team keeps getting ghosted or your setters are rushing into the pitch, this is the video that's going to rewire how you think about setting forever, and you're going to send it to them. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to give you like a very comprehensive, borderline mini masterclass response to this. So I'm going to watch everything in its entirety. I'm probably just going to put the speed up to like 1.25 so it doesn't make me fall asleep, so I could listen to tonality. At the same time, I'm going to go over the scripts and I'll explain the differences of formats of what you should do or could do. Anyways, this is a coach that I'm working with, and he is needing help with reviewing setting. And we've gone over back and forth a lot. I've even made him his own setting checklist based off of phase 1. And anyways, without further ado, he booked this person in. He's running ads. It's a Facebook ad opt-in form. He's running ads to a lead magnet. He's calling them, which he has a bunch of leads in the pipeline now, and then he's calling them, booking them to a call. Okay, so this person he called yesterday, he wants me to review the call, and now let's get into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give live feedback, and then at the end, I will take my live feedback and I will modify it into kind of like a breakdown with a rubric, etc. All right, so here we go.
Craig, thank you. Hey, Craig, this is Kaylin. I saw you got the ebook. You're looking to get some help with your fitness. I just want to connect and see where you're at, see if there's any.
So first thing I would do, bro, I would first acknowledge and open with more of a positive tone, and then also just literally ask them their name. So the intro on here, this is universal, but it also depends on where they're calling from. So for example, with Kay, he is calling people from the lead magnet ad, right? So what he did was okay. Let's just redo the intro because the intro is really important. It's like the hook of a video. Right? All right, just a really quick interrupt. If you want the exact script and frameworks that I'm using in this video breakdown, it's linked below. It's the same systems we use to train setters inside of Ardent GSI, step by step, word for word. You could download it, you could study it, and you can use it before your next call. You can send it to your setters. It's going to tighten your opener, fix your pacing, and change the way that you set forever. So now, back to the breakdown.
Hey, Craig, this is Kaylin. I saw you.
Now I don't know, maybe the beginning of the set cut off, but literally what I used to do is I would just be in a really friendly tone and be like, hey, is this like I'd act confused and I'd be like, hey, is this Bob, right?
Got the ebook.
Because you went straight into like the ebook, right? Because you want to kind of explain to them why you're calling. You just jump straight into that, but this is me nitpicking.
To get some help with your fitness. I just wanted to connect and see where you're at, see if there's anything I can do to help.
I appreciate you calling. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Silver Spring, Maryland. Where are you from?
I'm in Southern California, Kaylin. Southern California.
All right.
And I do appreciate. Yeah, go ahead.
It would be.
Yeah. So, bro, sometimes there could be a lag using GHL or just in general, right? It's the same thing on a sales call. You want to slow it down and let the prospect talk, but then also still hold control. So try to do that next time.
Be help online, so it's not like an in-person training thing. It would be getting you, if it seems like a good fit, obviously getting help online.
There you go. That's good because you told something about the good fit.
Sounds like something you'd be interested in.
And then that's good. You asked basically permission based. Is that something you'd be interested in? It's rhetorical. He's somewhat interested because he signed up for the lead magnet and you did the speed to lead.
Well, it seems like all the programs are online. I understand it. I work out with a trainer I have for 9 years. I'm in the gym 5 days a week. And my whole thing is I'm in pretty good shape. Pretty good shape. Okay? For as much as I work out and now as much as I'm trying to watch my nutrition, I should be in better shape. And that's my trainer is a big proponent of strictly proteins and salads and not a lot of carbs, and he looks phenomenal. Other people believe you.
Well, that's completely unsustainable. So that's the angle that I would get at. But also, I'll watch the entirety of this set so you get a better idea to see the structure that you follow. Maybe this would be a perfect example with this prospect, but I wouldn't say it's an automatic DQ, but your main thing is not nutrition, right? So he's already working with a trainer. So your main program, it would be a really hard pitch for him.
Gotta have some carbs. He doesn't. He get carbs through other things other than, sweet potatoes or yams or things like that. So I need some help. I need some direction. I don't feel I need a lot of help with the exercises, but you can always learn. And I'm a big believer in learning what works. You follow me?
100%. Yeah. So you're saying right now you're in the gym, you're working out, but you're not seeing the results you want, and you're feeling like you're struggling with the nutrition side of things. So you're working with the trainer.
See, there you go. You did isolate or not qualify. You did narrow in on kind of what he's wanting help with, and then I think now you're pivoting into isolating the trainer.
I mean, are you getting the results you want to see? Like, what is actually? I just want to understand what's going on exactly. Like, have you been happy with the progress you've made?
There you go. That's really, really good, dude. Because now you're opening up. You're asking open-ended questions. You're doing basically discovery, right? So if we go to phase 1, and for anybody watching this, like, this isn't one for one, and I've told Kay this a bunch. You should not be reading a script one-to-one. You need to role play, you need to practice it. The reason why I was really good at setting, and I still am, is because I could do this like the back of my hand, right? But that's only happening through reps, right? So basically right now, Kay's just going through discovery, and anybody who is taking a sales call, that's like one of the most important thing, right? So then you just basically dive a little deep, not in terms of the same in terms of golden nuggets, but you dive deep and you get specifics. So that's what he's doing right now. And then you want to dive deeper, so we'll see if he does that. Yeah. All right, really quick to interrupt myself. If this already exposed a gap in your process, don't just keep watching. Pause right now and comment the word script, and I'm going to send you the checklist I used to build every high-converting setting framework. You're going to see exactly what to say, what to skip, how to control the call from start to finish. So don't just consume this video, just actually apply it. And that's how you're going to close the gap and get more people to show and make more revenue.
What is actually? I just want to understand what's going on exactly. Like, have you been happy with the progress you've made?
Well, I have on the weight side. Right now. On the weight side, I have been happy with what I'm 5'9", 174 pounds. I need to lose lower belly fat.
Oh my God.
A week. So
Sorry.
And replace it with muscle, and I'd be happy with the same weight. I realize it's not the weight. It ain't the weight. I understand that. I've gone through the keto thing. I've gone through weighing myself on the scale. I've gone through all that, and I know it doesn't matter. I know you've got to get a certain amount of protein. Everything I read or have been told is 0.7 grams per pound of body weight.
Okay, so this guy seems pretty knowledgeable, seems pretty serious, has a trainer already, so he's making the investment. It's going to be a hard sell for you to do high ticket because you can't really cover half of what your program offers, but you could solely focus on nutrition.
To over a gram.
And then like accountability, offer him the school community and whatnot.
Everyone has their different theory. And that's where I think that's where I struggle. I started doing a lot of cardio, incline, variable resistance, incline cardio, for 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I do that, getting the results you expect? No, I'm not.
The nutrition is going to be something that you need more. I got you, man. So what you're looking for is losing the belly fat, and obviously nutrition is going to be something that you need the most assistance with. So, you already gave me a lot of details, and that was great. I appreciate that. And I want to ask you this, like, what? So
this was good. You're now going into deeper discovery. So I'm not saying anything you're doing so far is bad. He already told you his height and his weight. What you didn't really get, unless you got it later, is I always start with basically like identifying their number one goal, right? So that's kind of like, hey, is this Bob? Great, cool. You signed up for the thing, or I got your number, or whatever. That's the thing where it's variable. Then I would be like, okay, cool, man. Well, would it be cool if I asked you a couple questions? Permission based? Yep. Okay, cool. So, I guess what's your number one goal? Like, why'd you, reach out through XYZ? Okay, cool. So most people are going to say weight loss, or even if they don't say weight loss, but weight loss is universal for this example. If it's weight loss, you're good at that. Be like, okay, so like, if you don't mind me asking, like, what's your current weight right now? Boom. I mean, he told you that, right? But what you didn't ask is his goal weight. And for him, he probably doesn't have a goal weight, but you could ask his body fat percentage, right? So what's your current body fat percentage? What do you want to get to? And here's the kicker. When was the last time you were there? So now we have his current state, his future state, and then the last time he was there. So then if there's any objections that if there's any objections that come up, you could literally just be like, bro, why are you delaying this? Because it's been 5 years since you were happy, right? And then it's also an easy transition to talk about like to get into the deeper discovery. So it's like if it's been 10 years or 5 years since he has been at his body fat percentage or at his weight goal, then you're going to do like what you're doing now, where it's like, why? It's an easier transition. So it's like, yeah, it's like the discovery. It's like, okay, so why is this important to you now? How does it make you feel? Stuff like that.
Why do you want to lose this extra weight?
But this is good that you did the discovery. You weren't doing this before.
But, why do you want to lose belly fat? Has it been impacting you overall, physically, mentally, even confidence-wise?
I'll tell you why. For as hard as I work out in the gym, and for as disciplined as I am, and I have been in my business career and in the gym.
Okay, so that's another thing I would note. Business career, that means this guy has, like, obviously investment to make.
I feel I should look, if I have my clothes on, I look great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look my age, I look great. Take my shirt off, and I go, I shouldn't have this fat here. It's not obvious to a lot of people. It's obvious to me.
So he has insecurities. This is good. You would work on that and open that, probe that.
You understand that. You understand that.
Yeah, I mean, how long have you been feeling like this, man?
Good.
Taking your shirt off and just not being happy.
For a long time.
Okay, so you did excellent. You did what I mentioned before. You did get the kind of like the timeline. I would have just asked earlier, but
a long time. For a while, I was doing the keto diet, which is a disaster for anyone that lifts, I believe. You can't get enough protein in.
This is good. So then he's also an intelligent prospect where he knows what's good, what's bad. So you don't need to educate him on that. That's very, like, that's honestly rare. A lot of prospects are dumb, and then they're like, oh, well, I've done keto, or I want to do keto, and then you have to educate them on why it's bad.
And then 2 meals or 1 meal. So from 185 down to 170, and I lost a lot of muscle mass. And then I woke up one day and said, this ain't working. I'm starting to, meals a day, and I'm not hungry every 2.5 to 3 hours. Like my trainer says, he eats about every 2 hours. Well, to get enough protein in, I'm just not hungry every 3 hours. That's the truth.
So one of the hardest things that is going to happen, because this, for anybody watching this right now in this training breakdown, Kay hasn't had the sales call. So I think what would be a cool follow-up is I'll obviously review it. But it'll be a very hard sell because you're going to kind of almost have to convince him in a way that your product and service and what you offer is better than what he's currently doing with the trainer. So I don't know, maybe you got into discovery even more and asked him, like, is he opposed to, like, I mean, he wouldn't be, it's rhetorical. He's obviously open to getting some other type of help. Because otherwise he probably wouldn't have signed up. He wouldn't have answered the phone. He wouldn't be as open as he was with you. But it'll be a hard sell if you're trying to ask him for, $5K, $6K for the year when he's probably already spending double that on a trainer in person. So you might have to, customize a package to him. But he seems very serious. If this guy shows up, it should be somewhat of an easy sale in terms of any denomination of investment.
Yeah, and the truth is, eating every 2 hours is not necessary to get results at all. So, it sounds like you've tried a lot in the past. And what would you say that, what do you feel with that stake if you don't fix this soon, man? If you don't...
Okay, there you go. Good shit, dude. That's really, really awesome. We weren't doing this before. This is really good discovery. And what I want you to also keep in mind is a lot of the same discovery you're doing really well, and you should take that and carry it onto the Zoom. I don't give a shit if you ask the same questions one-to-one, because people forget, and the biggest thing you need to do on a Zoom call is build pain, right? So I made a YouTube video. It hasn't come out yet, but what I'll do really quickly is for demonstration purposes, or for not for demonstration purposes, for visual stimulation. All right, I'll go over this really, really quick because it's the same thing on setting on the phone as it would be in sales. Okay, but basically you don't want to just ask surface level questions. You need to go into what I call the golden nugget, or deep dive, or dive deep, right? Because it's like, okay, what made you book the call today? Who cares, right? What's been happening, or what's going to happen if nothing changes in the next 6 months? Why is this important to you? Because this is where the decisions are made, right? So here's logic versus emotion. I want to lose weight. I hate looking in the mirror. I want to make more money. I'm scared of failing. I'm scared of dying, And so this allows them to kind of put the mirror back on themselves, right? So this is like a very quick snippet of this. This is like the next video that's going to come out. It's pretty much about phase 3, but this is really good.
Lose extra weight in on your nutrition and structure that you need.
I don't know if I can put it in those terms. Let's put it this way: a sales career, or you're in a job, and if you're not progressing, if you're doing all the right things or think you are, you need a blueprint. Okay, let me put it another way, Taylor. If you're going to go from Maryland to Dallas, and you have the wrong map to get to Dallas, you get frustrated. If you have the right map.
So this guy is a logical buyer, which is both good and bad. It'll be hard for you to sell a salesman where you're at right now. So trying to necessarily overcome objections, or you just have to, you honestly just have to treat this buyer logically and just talk to him logically. You shouldn't have to build that much pain. He already has the pain. He's already told you that, right? So this is both a good thing and a bad thing.
You don't get frustrated. It's that simple. I'm a bottom line guy, and I realize now I need some professional help. I don't need someone looking over my shoulder. I track every exercise I do, and then when I go in on my own, I do a lot of stuff people never do. I'm not lifting heavy weights. Certain things I'm lifting heavy, but again, I'm not trying to build size at all. I'm really not. I'm pretty defined. I'm slight of build, actually. Small bone.
Okay, so, I'm going to fast forward a little bit because I can read the transcript. I want to get to here.
Symmetrical, lower belly fat. I mean, real talk, like on scale 1 to 10.
So you recapped what he said. That's good.
And you're being ready to fix this now. 10 being ready to fix this now and being not that big of a deal. Where would you put yourself?
Fantastic job, dude. Fantastic. That's called temperature check. You want to still do that on the sales call as well, but you always, anybody watching this, you always want a temperature check. Because honestly, needless to say, if someone doesn't give you, I'd say a minimum of an 8, you sucked for the first, because right now he is 8 minutes in, and what a lot of rookie people mistakes make when it comes to setting on the phone. By now they would have pitched them and they would have asked for the call. No, you want to build as much rapport and as much trust and reciprocity and I already said rapport as you possibly can, and it does so many things. One, you're getting all this information and ammo. It makes your job easier on the sales call when he gets there. And what's the likelihood this guy's not going to show up the next day when you book the call, when you talk to him for 15 minutes, and then on top of that you're going to do a nurturing sequence, right? Because industry standard, no matter if it's for fitness specifically, whether it's memberships, in-person training, group, whatever, it's pretty much 50 to 60% no-show rate. So what if you could cut that in almost or more than half? You can go to 20%. Because my no-show rate was 10 to 15% for a year straight. Granted, I wasn't doing unbelievable volume lead because I didn't need to, right? But of the 10 calls that I would have, 20 calls that I would have in a month, I'd talk to 15 or 16 of them, and they would show up, and some of them ready to buy, paid in fulls.
Well, I'm working at it every day, so I would put it very high on my list. Very high on my list. I mean, that's why I reached out.
Did he give you a number?
And again, I mean, I've talked to different people. A lot of the messaging is pretty much the same from different companies. And
Yeah.
So this is something I would take a note of on your call. You're going to probe him and ask him this on the call tomorrow before you pitch him price. You need to make sure he's in a decision to buy now, because if he's probing and researching and looking at other companies, then you can't pitch him, right? Because it's just going to be like, oh, well, I want to think about it, right? You could get a deposit. You could be like, well, go talk to other people, come to me last type shit. But yeah.
so again, I'm trying to differentiate and kind of make a decision. But it's high on my list. I spent a lot of time trying to find the answers for myself, and so that's kind of where I'm at.
He didn't give you a number.
I got you. I mean, a lot of companies.
I would have circled back just to get a number. I mean, logical buyer, you don't necessarily have to, but universally speaking, for 95% of others, that's not a business professional, I would have circled back and just asked the question again.
Better approaches. It's gonna send you
Just because in that way it'll show you more objections, or like give you objections if there is any.
stuff that some other clients not actually getting accustomed to. But based off what you shared, I think you would be a good fit for what I do, given something that's important.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. How you frame that. I would say, well, man, based off of how you told me XYZ, and you're struggling with XYZ, I think what I do here, or I think what I offer, you would be like a good fit, or potentially you'd be a good fit to work together. So what I'd love to do is kind of walk you through, my program in more depth, blah, blah, blah. So let's see how you do that, and then I'll pull up the script.
Important to you, especially with how long you've been trying to fix it. So it's cool.
You did okay. I'm not saying you did bad. It's just some people would not take great to that.
If I walk you through how my program works and what the next steps would.
Yeah, I don't like the wording. You need to work on that a little bit. If I walk you through the next steps, I don't like that. Like, you always want to try to do permission-based.
Look like.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, cool. So pretty much.
So now you're going to go into basically your elevator pitch, which would be your 3 steps. So first, let's go. So we went over the goals. We went over that. We did that pretty solid. Okay. So this is the condensed, what's the main thing you're trying to fix? Got it. Great. If they're vague, then you go with this. Use as many of these as you need to get something measurable, continue, transition, dive deep, or dig deep. We went over that with the golden nugget, right? Enough is enough moment, like why is the big thing. Kay didn't really do that, but he doesn't need to with this prospect, right? If you need to go deeper, sample flow, then we go into urgency, right? So let me ask you, like, what happens if nothing changes 3 to 6 months? Now with this prospect, that wouldn't have been necessary. With most prospects, this is necessary. They need to understand and paint the future perfect kind of thing. And then you could have these as follow-ups. This is the advanced probe if they're dancing around it, right? And then you do the temperature check. Right. So, all right, before I explain how everything works, just out of curiosity, like you said, you want to be able to do XYZ on a scale of 1 to 10, like 0 to be like, I don't want to do this. And, it's not that big of a deal. And 10 being like, I really want help. I need to do this right now. Where would you be? So if it's anything but 8, that's not good. Right. So if it's anything under 10 or like 8 out of 10, like what's keeping it from being a 10? Because this is going to show the objection before the objection. Right. So totally fair. But like, what happens if this doesn't help? Like if you don't change and then benefit. Okay. Now I've gotten this a lot. Well, I don't believe in 10s or perfection. Then that makes sense. But like, if that's what would be holding me back if we don't want to do numbers, right? Because some people will just not give you a 10. And then this is optional regarding the spouse. You don't have to do this. Honestly, I would not need to do that unless you're getting it a lot on your calls. The reason being is on your calendar page or also on the call itself, you would do that before pitching. Okay. I really love this depending if the timing is right. Before going into how the setup permission pitch, let me ask you something. Like, have you heard of the whole New Year's resolution thing? And they're obviously going to say yes. And they'll be like, okay, cool. Well, most people do. But here's what I've seen and heard over and over again. They'll say they're going to start soon. Then October, November, December rolls around and nothing changes. So then is it another year of feeling stuck? No. Okay, cool. So let me ask you, like, are you here to wait again? Or like, is this actually going to be something different this time? All right, cool. So notice the tone that I did a little bit there. And then also, like, right now, when I'm recording this, it's September. So this would be a perfect time to use this, right? It also gives people, like, it forces people kind of not to back out of booking the call because they're like, no, I really want to get help with this, right? Okay, cool. Well, because of everything you told me, it sounds like you're really ready to make change. So based off everything you shared, honestly, I think you'd be a really good fit for what I do, especially with how much, this has been weighing on you and you want help or whatever with XYZ. Would it be cool if I walk you through how the program works and what the next steps would be? If you did everything right. I honestly can't recall how many times I have not heard the word no. Because at this point, it's like 9 or 10 minutes into the phone call. Nobody's going to say, I have to go, I'm busy. Very, 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 very rarely. If they do, they're like, cool, let's book you in. That's it, okay? Very rare they're going to try to bail at this point. So you ask the permission to go over the script, right? So if they say they try to bounce, here you go. If they got to bail, got to go, blah, 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 okay? So now we go into programming the tailor and the pre-pitch, all right? So now if they're going to say, yeah, tell me how it works, you give them a high-level overview tailored to their struggle. What that means is 3 pain points or 3 main pillars. Okay, so I can't necessarily give you every single universal thing. All right, but this is a example of like a custom micro pitch, right? And then you have the offer tie-in, and then you have the soft close into the game plan. We'll get to that last. Now I'm going to go back to a real life example with Kay.
The first thing we need to do is give you structure, step-by-step structure, so you're not guessing.
So this is good. The first thing he did was looped in the fact about what the prospect said, because some rookie setters will just have universal, with a fitness example, they'll have 3 pillars: weight loss, nutrition, and accountability. You sound like every other person on the planet. Okay, and so why would they go with you? You need to go with a program that's custom tailored to exactly what the prospect said.
Especially with nutrition, but of course, let's take a look at the current workouts you're doing, revamp it if we need to. And you got to realize, when it comes to nutrition, there's no keto that you're going to ever stick to forever. So it needs to be flexible. It needs to be a nutrition program.
Okay, so that's 2. That's nutrition.
To be your taste and allows you to enjoy you want to eat. Restrict yourself without losing muscle. You just lose fat. So you know how much to eat, and we'll work on that. And then obviously, it sounds like you're pretty motivated, but we're just going to make sure.
So, a couple things. I know I'm watching at almost 2 times speed, but you need to slow down. And this is another thing a lot of non-experienced setters do, and also closers on a call. When you're rambling, you need to stop and you need to check in with the prospect. Because imagine if you just talk for a minute straight, people are going to like pass out, and they're just not going to pay attention, right? Versus you go over pillar 1. Does that sound right? Like, does that make sense? And then you go into the next thing. So keto, nutrition. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Everything else in your life is optimized: sleep, health, hormones, everything there as well. So pretty much. Aside from that, I work with a lot of busy professionals, so it's designed to work around your schedule, not take over.
That's good.
Most times, since you're already in the gym, might not be the biggest challenge for you, but with nutrition, it's going to take maybe just a tiny bit of adjustment. So
you just need to tweak this a little bit. It's too long, bro. I think this has been over a minute.
The biggest part, though, is accountability. I just want checking in, especially with the nutrition. I'll be able to see what you eat every week, and you won't be doing this alone. A quick chat with you. So it's going to be a game plan. We'll walk through your routine, what you're doing right now, what needs to change, and then I'll map out a whole step.
Okay, yeah, you got to change this, bro. So it's been like a minute and a half. You never stopped once to acknowledge, and then you jump straight to the game plan chat. Right? So this would be the example of the 3 steps. What I've done is, after they acknowledge after here, okay, it depends. This is optional. Based off everything kind of just went over. Like, does that feel like something like, you're looking for? It could help you? Okay, cool. Well, look, like, I don't want to necessarily throw a bunch more info at you right now. What I'd love to do is book a X, whatever you call it, game plan, chat, discovery call, whatever. And so we'll go through everything we kind of talked about, what needs to change, and then I'll map out like a full step-by-step plan for you. And then if you like it, and you want the help executing it, we could then talk about what working together would look like in the future. If not, there's no pressure at all. I'm still going to leave you with a clear strategy. Does that sound fair enough? Awesome. Now what I always do, all right, cool. I got to run in a couple minutes. I have a client coming. I have a meeting coming. I have whatever coming. I have to go cook. I have to take my dog out, whatever. It makes you seem busy, all right? So you can either option close and be like, I have this time or this time, like if you're actually busy, or what I also do is then be like, okay, so just out of curiosity, what do you do for work right now? You don't need to do that with this prospect, right? But I would typically ask, okay, so do you work like 9 to 5 or like what's your whatever? And the reason doing this is because, again, it isolates, they can't back out. So, okay, so you work like 9 to 5. Okay, cool. And like Monday to Friday, obviously, so would like, and then you could just be like, so what time you usually get home, dinner, all that, okay, because then it removes, I'll be busy. So then, boom, then you just book it in for like when they confirm, all right? So let's go back to Kay.
Quick chat with you. So it's going to be a game plan. We'll walk through your routine, what you're doing right now, what needs to change, and then I'll map out a whole step-by-step plan for you.
Yeah, so okay, when you watch this, you need to just narrow in on that, because now it's almost approaching 2 minutes of talking straight.
You feel like a plan sounds good, you want to help execute it.
A lot of people, it's going to be way too much overwhelming info.
We can talk about what working together would look like, and if not, no pressure at all, you'll still be with a clear strategy. So, yeah, you
and then you jump straight into like, yeah, are you free mornings or evenings?
Prefer in the mornings or the evenings.
As far as on a call with you?
So he's confused, right? You never stop to acknowledge or ask questions or check in with him, right?
Yeah, so it'll be a 30-minute call.
You have a calendar right in front of you?
Oh, he's a super sales guy.
I do. I can do tomorrow 6 p.m. works great for me. But
I can't do tomorrow. I've got my daughter's birthday. I can't do tomorrow. Friday the 26th, do you have any time?
So with this guy, I never give someone your time. Like, discover and just be like, what time typically works for you. And then at that point, you could have just figured out a lot of stuff, but whatever. I'm nitpicking. Let's skip to here.
Awesome, man. So I got you locked in for then. Now, after this call, I'm just going to send you over
great
videos to watch. And it's just going to break down a little more on what it is I actually do and how it actually help you. So, yeah, man.
All right, fantastic. So for anyone curious, that's the start of the nurture sequence. That's the VSL that he has that I've made for him.
I'll go ahead and send that over. It's just a couple bone splits. I just work some clients. I think that you can relate to these guys who are...
Fantastic. Good job, Kay.
We're trying to lose less of that. That way when we jump on, we can go deep, not just cover surface.
I'm not a novice at this. I've worked with a few professional trainers. Never have we discussed nutrition, though. That's crazy. I know that. I know it's all about nutrition now. All about nutrition. Yeah. What I need, I can almost self-diagnose and tell you.
Yeah, so with this guy, bro, logical buyer, really serious, probably going to buy in some capacity. You can't pitch him the world. You have to discover what he's doing in terms of what he's worked on or what he's working with in current trainers, other programs, things like that. And just talk to him like you have on the phone.
I need a blueprint on nutrition because believe me when I tell you, when I work with my trainer, Kevin, on a typical day, and that's 3 days a week.
Also, on a side note, if you sign this guy and you have trouble with nutrition, you can message me and I can help you with that.
In an hour, we do 6 different exercises, 4 rounds each one. So I do 24 sets.
That's pretty stupid, actually.
On most days when I train, we do not screw around. And on leg day, we might do 4 or 5 different exercises, 4 rounds of each.
Okay, so this guy, yeah. So the reason you also want to say like, "Hey, I gotta go in a couple minutes," is because it avoids people and kind of getting them to shut up, right? So if you did this like word for word, and you're like, "Hey, okay, cool, I gotta run in a couple minutes. What time works? Okay, cool, I'm gonna send you the video. Bye."
One. So we get a lot done. And then on certain days, I do the incline cardio, the 12 exercises, and get no
information. And as long as your hormones, your testosterone level, we'll make sure we dive into that on the call.
Okay, good. So you transition pretty solid.
Yeah, video's only about 5 to 10 minutes. Other than that, bring your A game, show up in a place where you can focus. And looking forward to this, man. I'll talk to you soon.
I will look for your information. I'll bring my workout book.
Test is 760. Holy shit, that's incredible. All right, so okay, I would give you actually, bro, like an A. I give you an A minus. Okay, if I'm being super strict, this is your best set that I've ever heard you do. Now to put a bow on this in terms of what else we missed on the script. So basically, this is what he did in terms of final. Okay, great. I'm gonna book you in. You'll get it. But you didn't say like, okay, I'll send. You'll get like an invite. Normally, I would tell people you're gonna get an email for Google Calendar or Zoom or whatever. So that way they have something to like, they're looking for the link for the call type shit. But whatever. I would also send it like manually, anyways. And then basically, then you did the nurture. Like, cool. I'm gonna send you over the video. Right now, it depends. It depends on what you have in terms of assets for anybody watching this. Like, if they say motivation is a struggle, like number one video you're always going to send is your main VSL. But then for me, I always had other like nurturing sequences that I would send them, like in terms of videos. Like, because I had like 200 videos on YouTube, so I would always try to get like 3, 4, 5 touch points, and I would send them multiple videos before I talk to them. Right. The more people watch of you, the more they like you, the more they trust you, the more they would more likely to buy from you. There's the Google rule of 7. Potential customer needs to encounter a brand's message or interact with the brand at least 7 times or 7 hours. It's not 7 times, 7 hours. I think it's this one. Yeah, spend 7 hours with your brand. Have 11 touch points across 4 different platforms or locations. All right. Okay, so final framing, and then this is where you plug in your VSL, your pre-doc, your WhatsApp, etc. Financial qualifier. Okay, you don't need to do this for everyone, especially with like this prospect that we went over. But if you're getting on with a lot of people that are broke, or the financial objection comes up, then before, like, you run through everything, and right before you hang up the phone, just really quick, now that we have the time locked in, I'm really excited to talk to you. I just want to be upfront with you so we're not wasting each other's time or whatever you want to say. Obviously, like, what I do isn't just some like cookie cutter program, or what we do is not some cookie cutter gym. It's a real investment, and I'm not going to ask for anything crazy. Like, I'm not going to ask for your SIN number, your credit card, or anything like that, but just so I know what's realistic for you. If we checked everything out for you and like there's something you want help with, XYZ, roughly like what would be a comfortable amount investing, or for you investing into this, like, weekly, monthly, whatever it works. If they don't know, totally fair. I'm not asking, to guess what I charge, just a ballpark. If they still dodge, then, they're it's not a great prospect at that point. You can just give them a ballpark, like here. And then if they say I need to talk to my partner, honestly, I would then ask them if they can bring it to the call, or like this person's never going to sign, but that's rare. So now the last parts we'll go over this. So that's the main script. There's nothing crazy here that we didn't go over. The pre-setting call checklist. You make sure you have the VSL, that this is added to the CRM GHL, that you qualify, confirm, you set them, your homework is optional, you confirm the date, time, you tag them. The tag should happen automatically. All right. So if we go to Kay's thing, it's here, it's tagged, right? The tag is lead magnet opt-in and VSL opt-in, right? And then he has a booked 1-to-1. Now, this is basically where you would go into the pre-call nurturing sequence, I guess, so to speak, and then you would modify it. So I made one actually this morning for another client, where this is just an example where it's like, this is the preview. Immediately after booking, hey, I saw your name come through, pumped to connect, here's the VSL, right? And then like 12 hours later, one of my clients, blah, 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 here is a video of their testimonial. Like, because for Kay, he has an incredible amount of social proof, right? So he's not going to send them the landing page, for example, but like if he were to go to his, I believe it's his booking confirmation, like he has literally like a 6-minute video of just people talking like that he's a really good coach, right? So he has all the social proof necessary to convince, quote unquote, convince anyone, right? I'm going to try to show a live example as well from like an old chat if I can find it. Okay, so I'll go through some old messages. Now, keep in mind, this is when I also had a closer. So I would do what's called like passing the baton, but I would tell them at the end of the call, keep a lookout. I'm going to send you over the video like Kay did. and I'm gonna make a group chat, or I'm gonna message you on WhatsApp. All right. Now, if they had an iPhone, I would just do it on iPhone because it's easier. I prefer iPhone because you can like schedule the messages as well. But here is like the original video, the message we went through. I did a bunch of different iterations. I would even send them like the link tree. I'd also tell them, hey, we have a gift for you when you show up. That helped a lot actually. And then this guy ghosted, right? So then I also sent the loom. This guy was not ready to commit. Let's see if I could find one that closed. Okay, this guy was a close paid in full. He did 6K. So this was, if we click on this, I don't know if this is still live. Yeah, this takes them to an old VSL that I don't run anymore. Then it answers like a lot of questions, right? I've had people go through this page, watch everything, and say, hey, I'm not interested anymore. That's cool. They disqualified themselves, right? And then that's as simple as it is for him. I'm trying to see if there was like a longer drip. Well, another really good example of this one would be K. So it's spelled different, K-A-Y. This is a female. So make a long story short, I know without a shadow of a doubt, if I didn't send her this video, she would not have signed. She literally told me that. Okay, so she was a PIF for six, or no, she was not a PIF, but it was a 6K contract. All right, so I sent her the VSL, as I always did, but I also told her on the call, hey, I know someone that's been in your exact same shoes, and I helped them because this case prospect was like mid 50s, and I helped someone basically identically to her. So I sent her that video testimonial. I told her to watch that, right? And then I mean, there's other ones where I changed the cadence where I would send them it differently. What I also used to do is I changed it up a bit, and again, I would change up the nurturing sequence or the assets that I send them based off of what they told me. You don't necessarily have to do that, especially if you're a gym watching this. Like, just send them the VSL. But eventually, you're gonna start making content in different assets, and then obviously customize it. But I would also start sending them like my lead magnet. Now I had a really solid lead magnet instead of a VSL. I play around with it. It made much of a muchness. It just depended on the prospect. But what really helped is sending them someone that was in their same shoes, right? And then we got a deposit, sent the link, blah blah blah. This is another really solid example, right? I made a group chat. Here's a client that fits her profile, but oh no, she did respond. She didn't respond to the gift. The gift is honestly another thing like that's probing them to see if they're even serious. And then boop da boop, she didn't really respond, and he made a drip sequence. Yeah, but these are pretty old, so I can't find all of them that are closed. If you want more info, you let me know. But overall, I hope this helps. We went into extensive details. There's not really much else that is needed to go over. There's obviously the objection handling, but if you do your job properly, and you get paid, like there's not going to be a lot of objections. The only one is really like, I don't have time, or I don't have money. Okay, that's pretty much it. We have this to help with that. You need to role play this. Now, other things to note, I told Kay this before. If you're calling, like, I always say call 10 times in 72 hours, but you don't want to call them on the same number. You want to rotate them. So like if you're calling 4 times on day 1, call them every 2-3 hours, but like between 2 or 3 different numbers. It costs no difference in terms of GHL. And you also want to make sure your phone's not showing up as spam. So that helps with that as well. Okay. Now we also have tonality. We're not doing that and not going into that now, but you'll check this out when you can. I guess see you in the next video. Let me know if there's any questions. If this video hit and you want help dialing this in for yourself or your team or both, book a bottleneck call. Now, I call it a bottleneck because there is no pitch, there is no gimmicks, there is no pressure. It's the same process that we're going to run you through inside of our own systems on how to fix broken sales frameworks, retrain setters, and rebuild your show-up system from the ground up. We're going to sit down together and look at your current process step by step, find the leaks that are costing you calls, and show you how to plug them fast. You're going to leave this bottleneck call with knowing exactly what to fix, how to delegate, and what to double down on. Whether you work with us or not, you're going to walk out with a clear plan that you could use tomorrow morning. So if you're tired of your no-shows, of flaky leads, or blaming closers and they leave, or dead calendars, and you actually want a predictable pipelining, then the links below, hit it before you click off this video, because if you watched it this far, you're in like the 0.1%, and you already know your next 10 to 20 sales are sitting inside your system that you haven't optimized yet. So go book the bottleneck call and let's fix it together. See you soon. And if you like this video, then click the video that you're seeing above my face somewhere on the screen, because YouTube thinks you're going to find that cool as well.